No fucking, you ain't got no choice.
Compañeros, buenas tardes. A ver, ¿prende tu celular, no? ¿Prende tu celular? ¿Tu celular te prendió? Ah, perdón. ¿Cómo están, compañeros? ¿Cómo están? A ver, ven afuera, a ver si se...
One more chair.
Can you say something?
Hey, what's going on?
¿Escucha? ¿Sí? Bueno. Sé que ya va. Ya, hay que pararla.
Get your chair right here.
Ah, amigo, ¿sabes qué? En mi mochila, no sé si esta o la otra están mis lentes, ¿no? En esta o la otra que está en tu carro. ¿Cómo están, compañeros? Aquí estamos, navajas bugarín, las que matan de un patín. Acabamos de chingarnos una birria. ¿Cómo se llama usted, ya?
Jorge García.
Don Jorge García, ahí en el rancho de él y de Fernando, en la gallera de ellos, una birria súper chingona.
Muy bueno, muy bueno.
Demasiado.
Delicioso.
Ponete los lentes ahí, por ahí. Algo bien chingón. Bueno, pues aquí estamos aquí en Juan José Ríos. Es por tres de Wasabe, por tres de los Mochis. Wasabe. Un gusto aquí con la linda gente de Sinaloa. Yo antes venía mucho para acá. I used to come here a lot and fight.
A lot of galleros around here.
Pues aquí estamos como el famoso... ¿Cómo está?
Right here.
Ahí busca, digo, ¿no? Aquí enfrente o ahí por ahí no está. Aquí estamos con el famoso Clark. Clark, ¿cómo estás, Clark?
Bien, bien. ¿Y tú? Just
Clark,
aquí en
Clark,
Sinaloa.
Clark tiene un cuarto mexicano.
Está bien.
Hace rato estábamos viendo una canción de la Paquita. ¡Es Paquita! ¡Paquita!
You know, I enjoy a lot of good Mexican music. I mean, who don't like banda? You know, so
Bueno, está
it's
bien.
good. It's good.
How was the trip here?
Good. You know, I mean, the flight was good. We stayed in Tijuana last night, and you know, they took us out. They took us out to dinner, and shit. I mean, it was, you know, the Mexican hospitality is great. You know, like I said, I want to appreciate all you guys, you know, having us here and letting us do, you know, letting us do our thing. You know, we got the Derby tomorrow, so hopefully we can.
Dice que ayer fueron a Tijuana y que agradece mucho la hospitalidad aquí de la gente mexicana, que le encanta México. Mañana van a jugar un derby con pollos de aquí, me digo José, perdón, aquí está también José Luis, también es un socio de Clark. La entrevista la voy a hacer en inglés y voy a estar traduciendo en español también. I'm going to do English and Spanish.
Yeah. And then he can speak Spanish too, you know, so.
Where are you from, Clark?
Well, I was born and raised in Kentucky, in Manchester.
That's where the big pig was, right?
Yeah. I mean, we used to fight Mount Sterling, go down to Del Rio, Tennessee. You know, and just in our county alone, there was 3 pits. You know, Clyde Johnson's, Laurel Creek, Riverside, what used to be called Phil Young's. You know, like in the early 90s.
Dice que él se crió en Kentucky. En Manchester, ahí había 3 palenques muy grandes. Kentucky used to be one of the toughest places when it was legal,
the
right?
toughest. I mean, not just saying it because I was there, but I mean, Mount Sterling was not only a beautiful pit, but just absolutely everybody came there. You know?
Dice que Mount Sterling, I used to go there and gap fights were like short knife fights.
Oh, quick, couple buckles.
Yeah. Que a lo mejor los gallos estaban ahí en Kentucky en ese tiempo. So you grew up in Kentucky then?
Yeah. I was there until I was about 24. Then I joined the army.
Dice que tuvo hasta los 24 años ahí en Kentucky y luego se fue al army. You served, right?
Served I was in 10 years. 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
Tuvo 10 años en el ejército americano.
Got hurt in Afghanistan and, you know, medically, retired. So.
Dice que lo balancearon en Afghanistan y por eso ya se retiró del ejército. So when was the first time you started fried chicken? Digo, a ver si tengo un sobre ahí, ¿no? En una de las maletas.
Well, I mean, you know, I was born into this. You know, my father was a gallero. You know, my grandfather. You know, they all loved the animals. You know, the horses, the chickens. You know, all my cousins. I got a couple people that they used to pick me up. The Sizemore brothers, Lonnie and Richmond. You know, I'd be waiting at the end of the driveway, 5, 6, 7 years old. You know, and they would swing by, drive by, you know, jump in with them. You know,
Who,
they were
Lonnie?
Lonnie. You ever remember Lonnie and Richwood and those guys?
Que desde chico estaba en los gallos, de los 7 años estaba en los gallos. So your dad fought roosters or no?
Yes. Yeah. Me and my grandfather were more gambler type fighters. You know, my dad he liked to sit at home, raise them. He was more, you know, laid back, liked a good healthy rooster.
Y que su papá era que creaba y su abuelo y él eran los que apostaban. Es como un sobre amarillo, ¿no? ¿No está? Ah, bueno, está bien.
But, you know, I mean, we traveled around everywhere. You know, I mean, that's, you know, one thing that I look back, you know, we wasn't scared to go anywhere. You know, we go to McDowell, Big Blue, top of the hill, Pound, Virginia.
Jugaban en todas partes, pero jugaban en Virginia, jugaban en Kentucky.
I mean, just, I mean, we all started out in the gaff around that area.
Jugaban puro gaff. Do you still have it in the original bloodlines you had back then, now?
Yeah. In
Estoy preguntando si tiene alguna de las líneas que tenía anteriormente, tú las tienes ahorita.
In 1996, prior to 1996, you know, we had just the regular grays and a couple of bloodlines that my grandfather and a couple of my cousins we had, you know, around there. But after that, I won a Christmas Derby, you know, down at Tim's place. You know, when Tim first started running, because me and him was about the same age.
Okay.
You know, and so I wanted to get in the book and order some, you know, from chickens from somebody.
Dice que tenía en el tiempo tenía unos giros que tenía él es su abuelo.
So the first page I come to, Oscar Akins. So, oh, okay. So I give him a call, and I was like, yes, sir. I said, I'd like to buy like 60 battle cocks, you know, some brood fowl. He goes, how old are you, son? I said, like 13. And he fucking hung up on me.
Dice que la primera vez que era chico y que quería, bien emocionado, entonces abrió el libro del Gamecock y vio el anuncio de Oscar Higgins. Le digo, oye, quiero comprar 60 pollos y unos 10 tríos y ¿qué edad tienes? Digo, 13 años y le colgó. And then what happened?
So I mean, and so I said, well, hell, you know, at the time I said, hell, that guy, you know, and later on I got to know Oscar, you know, he's a good guy. But the next page, D. Cox, world champion, you know. Him and Earl Hermoshima from California, you know, another good buddy of mine.
Y que la siguiente página salió D. Cox y entonces era también un famoso D. Cox.
So I called their number, and I don't know if it was Mike or Jimbo that answered, you know, the first time. He's like, yeah, you got the money, come on down, we'll put the good ones in your hand. It was one of the best decisions I'd ever made in my life.
Dice que dijo, sí, si tienes dinero, vente para acá y aquí te damos buenos gallos. Y fue una de las mejores decisiones que hizo en su vida.
So that's where the Roundheads, the Kelsels, the regular Grays, and the Spangled Hatches come from.
Dice que ahí vienen sus, él tiene Roundheads, cabeza redonda, giros, hatches pintos y Kelsels. Tell me a little about your Kelsels. They come white leg, yellow leg?
They're about 99%, yellow-legged, pecan. They're the old Tony Martinez
99%?
blood. Yeah.
Dice que casi 99% de los Kelsels vienen pata amarilla.
But
pecan.
once every now and then you'll get a straight comb white-legged one.
Muy raro agarrar uno de cresta derecha, pata blanca, pero casi todos son cresta caída. Cresta amarilla. What kind of style do they have?
Very smart, you know, real suited for this Mexican type fighting. Weight, you know, they analyze the rooster. They're not a shotgun type chicken.
Dice que son muy listos, esperan al otro animal.
They move really well.
Mueven mucho. Yeah. Otra cosa que tengo que decir, todos los gallos que él vende en Estados Unidos son para show y todos los gallos que juegan aquí son de líneas que él trajo para acá. Any talk about chicken fighting was when it was legal in the United States, and any brood fowl that's sold in the States is for show only, for brood fowl. Anything fought in Mexico is stuff that he brought here years and years ago when it was legal in the States, has been bred here for a long time. También por favor comparten el video, por favor. Ya tenemos 700 personas aquí en el video. Por favor, A ver, voy a pedir una opinión. ¿Quieren que lo haga en inglés? Y ya después lo tramito en español. Bueno, así lo vamos a dejar todavía. Mejor. ¿Usted cómo ven? ¿Está bien así, no? So real smart, game.
Yeah, game. You know, they're a super chicken to cross. Anything that you cross to them, It just seems like it makes it better, and they click with a lot of breeds.
Dice que es un gallo, es una familia muy que cualquier otra familia, ¿cuál es la palabra? Pega mucho con cualquier otra familia, mucho fondo. What's better for you? What's more important for you, cut or gameness?
If you can't, cut. If you can't cut, you can't win.
Dice que para él es más importante el corte que la casta. But yours are all pit game, right?
Mine are, all of my bloodlines are the old school. They're all, chickens. It's been proven in every single weapon. I've done really good with them in the Philippines. I've done good with them, starting my expedition now here in Mexico.
Dice que aunque parece más importante el corte, que todas sus líneas son de las viejas escuelas, que él ha jugado en gas, ha jugado en las Filipinas, ha jugado aquí la mexicana, y se ha completado bien en cualquier. Have you ever had one quit?
Of course. If somebody says that, they bred chickens for 20 or 30 years and they haven't had one quit, they're liars.
Dice que si le ha corrido un gallo, dice que sí. Que si una persona dice que nunca le corrió un gallo, es que está echando mentiras. But percentage-wise, you have one I've fought thousands of them, and I can't remember the last time one did run off, but I'm just saying, every now and then you're going to have that one individual. Dice que ha jugado miles de Kelsons o miles de gallos de él, y que no se acuerda la última vez que le corrió uno, pero que sí ha pasado, que a todo el mundo le pasa. Your hatches, same hatches from
no,
Jimbo?
I don't have I don't have the Gerards anymore. When I partnered up with Arturo Diaz,
un saludo para Arturo Diaz, que es otro
and El Paso, I just liked the Colonel Givens a little bit more than I did the Gerards, so I just quit breeding those. Not that I didn't have a good record with them, but.
And the Colonels came from Art?
The Colonels came from Art.
Dice que ahorita tiene los Colonel Givens, vienen con Art, what's his last
Art
name?
Diaz.
Art Diaz, un saludo para Art Diaz. Era su socio por mucho tiempo.
He got him from Sam Garza out of Tyler, Texas.
Él lo ganó de una persona que se llama Sam Garza de Tyler, Texas. What kind of fighting style do they have?
No, they go after you. They don't move. They're the highest breaking roosters I got. They just hate a rooster. They just, whatever it takes to get the job done. They're not smart at all.
No son listos, más encimosos.
Right. Push.
Cutting-wise?
They cut good for green-legged chickens, but, I just don't think there are any green-legged chickens out there that do cut that good, whether it's my hatches or somebody else's.
Dice que cortan bien, pero que él no cree que hay hatches que corten mucho en ninguna parte. Perfect style for ACOs, no against ACOs, no, because they'll be pushing, no?
Yeah, they'll get all over a rooster. Immediately, even as stags at 6-7 months old, when you first put them up, you don't even have to spar them. Immediately, when you show them, they're gone.
Dice que tienen mucho coraje, no tienes que estar chillando, luego van a otro gallo.
Super aggressive.
Your grays?
The grays, the old regular grays, they're just a spectacular crossing fowl with the hatch. They're, like I say, they're not very intelligent either, but when I cross them with the hatch grays, they fight smart for some reason. I don't know why, because both the hatches or the gray side are not smart at all.
Dice que cruzar con los hatches son listos, pero solos no. Cuando se ponga amarillo me dices, ¿no? Aquí va a estar amarillo o verde. Está bien ahí. Cuando se ponga anaranjado me dices. So cross are good.
Cross spectacular. I hardly ever show any of them pure. But the hatch grays, they've proven themselves everywhere. There'll be a lot of those. I've got some 4 and 5 years old that 2 or 3, 4 time winners that just keep coming home.
Que ha tenido ellos de 4 o 5 años que ya tienen 4 o 5 peleas de los hatch con giro. The roundheads.
The roundheads, I think that's the best chicken I got. Most people know me as a roundhead person. I really can't say enough about those chickens. They, no matter the weapon, no matter, where you take them, they win,
Dice que para él su mejor gallo son los roundheads, son los best cutting chickens.
The best cutting roosters I got. They're just the ones that win, and we win like 85, north of 85% with them. The ones that win, they don't get hurt. They're type of roosters that you can double back 1, 2, 3 times that don't never get in trouble.
Dice que tiene un porcentaje de 85% ganadas con los cabezas redondas, And then that's the top
Oh,
competition.
I mean,
that's-
Victor, you've seen
Yeah.
me for 10 years. I mean, I'm not saying
dice
it,
que
you know.
esa es competencia dura. You've won everywhere. We won't mention any names, but you've dominated. Él ha dominado en todas partes, desde, bueno, no voy a mencionar nombres porque no quiero meter en problemas, pero en todos los estados ha dominado. I think you dominated. I'm not going to mention any names, but you dominated everywhere.
Well, I mean, it you know, it is what it is. You know, I mean, people can say whatever they want to say, but like I say, at the end of the day, we just let the chickens do the talking, and you know, and for me, you see me, I'm everywhere. You know, I'm on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast, I'm in the Philippines, I'm trying to get started here in Mexico. You know, I mean, I just love to you know, go after it. You know.
And you fought in dry places,
Dry,
wet places,
wet.
high, altitude, low.
Yeah.
Que ha jugado él en lugares muy secos, muy húmedos, muy altos, muy bajos. En las Filipinas,
Oh,
how do you do the Philippines?
Oh, last year was my first full year breeding over there. We won Stag Fighter of the Year with a lot of the round head crosses, the sweater round head, the sweater yellow-legged hatch, the round head Kelsel. Man, I mean, I'm just so proud of them.
And you won Cocker of the Year there? Or
No, we won Stag Fighter of the Year in Dugba, in Davao City.
Que ganó es un triunfo muy grande, ya se llama el jugador de pollos allá del año en 2 islas. Allá en las Filipinas juegan más pollos que gallos machos. They fight, the biggest derbies are stag derbies over there.
Oh yeah, the biggest derbies, I mean, like you say, A Cup, Dugba, Bakbakan, Big Maan, those derbies are 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 entries. So, you know, over a month, sometimes it'll take a month to, you know.
Que los derbis son esos de pollos son de 4 mil entradas y duran 2-3 meses para que se acaben los derbis. Y allá la competición de derbis es muy competida. And they ban them, right?
Oh yeah, they I mean, that's one thing that I really, you know, look up toward the Filipinos. They got a really good system. You know, they're banding the stags. They come to everybody's farm, band them when they're 2 or 3 months old. As soon as you can tell, pull it from stag. You know, you know, you have to be in their organization before you can fight their game bird organization. And you're fighting a true stag. There's none of this, you know, meeting a 30-month-old stag, you know.
Dice que allá en las Filipinas los bandean a los 3 meses, que ahí no hay nada que vas a jugar contra un pollo de 30 meses. Allá sí le hacen las cosas derechas. Bueno, yo no voy a hablar más de nadie de aquí de México, pero sí hay muchas tranzas aquí en los derbis de pollos. Juegan asiles o le bajan el espolón, le dan una feria cabrón que está anillando, o X cosa. No todas las palenques son iguales, pero sí he visto muchos palenques que hacen eso aquí. Y en las Filipinas no. So no crookedness in that over there?
None that I've seen. I mean, where there's money involved, there's obviously going to be some amount of crookedness, but I mean, it's awesome. I mean, you got to go just experience it for yourself at least one time before you die. You know, and the Philippines is amazing. You know, just like here in Mexico. You know.
Que está muy padre en las Filipinas allá porque es otro mundo allá. Allá todo el mundo juega gallos todo el tiempo. Vas en las carreteras y ves gallos en los camellones. I tell them that everybody fights roosters. You go on the street.
Oh, in downtown Manila, 10 million people. There'll be roosters tied out on the blacktop. Cars driving around them, just the respect for the chickens. You know,
que hay
it's
gallos
amazing.
a media calle, marados en los postes, en las Filipinas.
Amazing, you know, and I've just been super blessed, you know, to be able to travel like I can, you know, and have a lot of good friends, you know, like say here in Mexico, the Philippines, you know, the hospitality is just second to none, and you know, I'm blessed, you know.
Dice que está muy afortunado que está aquí en México y en las Filipinas. Do you think you'll move down here anytime soon?
I want to. I'm looking. I mean, I'm here. So, you know.
Dice que está viendo para venirse a vivir aquí a México, a competir acá en México. Ahorita está de socio José.
We got 2 shows for tomorrow at what's the name of the palenque? Ochikawi.
Van a jugar en Mochocawi, aquí en Los Mochis, un derby de pollos. A ver cómo nos va. Ya va a haber tríos también de él de venta aquí en México. Yo los voy a estar manejando. Si alguien quiere una de sus líneas, hábleme por favor. I'm telling them that if anybody wants your trips here in Mexico to contact me.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, just they can get a hold of you or my partner. You know, Jose, the one. You know, for Spanish speakers, I try to speak as much Spanish as possible, but it's better off to just contact you guys, and that way, we'll try to make them happy.
Sí, que para contactos de California hablen con José Luis y para ventas aquí en México, háblenme a mí, me pueden mandar un inbox. Your roundheads come from Jimbo too?
Yes,
from,
they're the Decox roundheads, the laces.
Sus roundheads son laces, vienen también de Decox también.
Like I say, for this Mexican style of fighting, the roundhead Kelso cross is just super.
Para este tipo de navaja, a él le gustan mucho los Kelsos con roundhead. Super smart, probably.
Really smart. They move really good. They can handle the ASIL type, fight.
Dice que se mueven mucho, son muy listos, que son perfectos para los asiles. You think they beat ASILs most of the time?
Well, I'm here to try. I ain't saying that I'm better than nobody else, or I'm not saying that that they can, but I'm here. I'm going to try to prove that in the next year or two. So.
Dice que va a comprobar que sí sus quesos con a veces no pueden con los asiles aquí en México. Have you been to the big pits here in Mexico, like on Intercontinental? Or
I fought in the Intercontinental when they came to Chihuahua.
How'd you do?
We started out. It was like 15 degrees up there that day. I mean,
yeah,
it was
snow.
Absolutely, yeah, snow. It took because I was at my wife's cousin's house in Milky, Chihuahua, and they closed the road to go over to the mountain to Chihuahua. So the other road was open on the opposite direction, so we had to drive the opposite direction all the way to Chihuahua just to get to the pit.
Wow.
Que
jugó en Chihuahua cuando fue el Inter, pero hubo un desmadre porque nevó estos días y sí fue un desmadre para llegar. You get there on time or no? You got there late?
Barely. They held it. I mean, actually, I wasn't the only one. There was a lot of people that was still trying to get there. It didn't turn out as good as everybody wanted. I guess that's probably why they didn't come back, but,
How'd you do?
The first day, we win one, lose one, and I didn't even go back. I mean, the roosters were just so drawed up, and
from the weather or from the traveling?
The weather, the traffic, just everything was a disaster. So I took them back to El Paso. I didn't want to waste them.
Dice que ganó una y perdió una y ya no jugó. Decidió mejor salirse de Derry porque los gallos iban mal por el clima y por el tráfico que hubo para llegar a Palenque, que sí fue un desmadre para llegar a Palenque.
And then luckily it turned out good. There were some good friends of mine that got in. I think they got second place, Hedda and the Camarón Game Farm.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Camarones.
Yeah.
The good boys.
Good boys. I really like those
que
guys.
Que lo ganaron un amigo de ellos que se llaman Partido de los Camarones. Muy buenos amigos.
Yeah. They got good roundhead chickens too. Good roundhead.
They're not coming from you?
No. I don't know exactly where they got theirs at, but they got good roundhead chickens.
También tienen muy buenos cabezón. They're good boys. I mean,
yes.
Both of them brothers. Yeah.
Honest, I mean, just straight out good people.
Un saludo al lo de Camaleón. Son muy buena gente, ellos están ahí en Chihuahua, en Juárez.
They live in
Deming, Texas, right?
Deming, New Mexico.
Deming, New Mexico.
Yeah.
You have Doms too, huh?
Yeah.
Bulicos.
Bulicos. Like I say, I'm not an off-colored man. I never have been. It's usually been red or gray and about 80% red. But there was a good friend of mine in Kentucky that I used to buy Hatch Kelsos from all the time, Creed Hogan. And every year, we'd go up there and he's like, hey man, take some of these Doms.
Quería un viejito que le compraba unos Hatch Kelsos para jugar porque no tenía suficientes y llévate estos Doms, estos Bulicos, y no los quería.
And finally, my partner Art, he said, hey, hell, let's take an entry of them, and we took them, and I even held them all the way at the end of the year when I didn't have anything else to fight. I was kind of embarrassed to take them. But, man, were they really, really good. I ended up winning 2 derbies with them and 2 mains with 6 roosters.
Dice que se lo llevó al final, se lo llevó los Bulicos porque no los quería, le daba vergüenza trotarlos. Y que con 6 gallos ganaron 2 derbies, 2 derbies and
2 mains.
Y con 6 gallos ganaron 2 derbies y 2 compromisos con esos gallos. Y de ahí empezó la familia. And that's where you started your family from.
Yes, and I started breeding them that year, and this year I'll have a pretty good selection of them. Where I'm just now building my numbers up on them because I started with one hen.
Dice que ya se va a tener más tríos de esos Bulicos. Game.
it's never went that far, so I don't know. You know, I've never had a real hard fight with them.
Que son castudos, dice que no sabe porque nunca han llegado a ocupar la casa.
But they act like they really want roosters. You know, they act like, you know, they even during the molt, you know, when they're, you know, at their weakest point, they still happy type roosters, and I've never seen one go under hack.
Dice que nunca he visto que un gallo de esos, aún que están en la pluma, actúan como que no quieren pelear. Víctor, ¿no puede estar un cabo ahí en la mochila? En una de las dos mochilas debe estar. Es una maderita chiquita. Una maderita para tener una navaja. ¿No te pone ahí un sobre amarillo, verdad? ¿No lo viste? No. Es una maderita, así, una pedazo de madera. Esa. Gracias. Thank you.
But for, you know, here in Mexico, I mean, the roundheads and the kelsels and the sweater roosters are good to breed toward the roundheads too. But the roundhead chickens are just really fitted for this style, you know, and the short knife. Just a game, athletic top chicken that, you know, it's been winning everywhere.
Dice que para él los cabezas redondas son especiales para aquí, para la mexicana, porque son muy listos, muy castudos y muy cortadores. We won't mention where, but up north, man, you just slaughtered them.
It was an amazing season, you know. I mean, we was kind of sitting around, you know, where I was living at. You know, this COVID stuff had really, you know, had everything knocked down, you know, and I mean, it was really good. I mean, we ended up just smoking them. You know?
Dice que para no mencionar nombres, ¿verdad? Pero dónde jugó, pero dominó cuando llegó el COVID. No había dónde jugar, entonces se fueron para el norte. Y you won 6 derbies out of 8.
We won 6 out of 8 derbies.
De 8 derbies se ganaron 6 derbies.
Big ones.
En competencia muy dura. One for...
2 for 5,000.
Bueno,
2 for 3,000 and 2 for 1,500.
Entonces, 2 de $5,000, 2 de 1,500, pero completely dominated, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was... I mean, a lot of the roosters we repeated, you know, a week later or 2 weeks later, but, you know, like I said, those round, I mean, and a majority of those was either pure roundheads. I mean, one of the 5Ks we fought nothing but straight pure roundheads.
Que uno de los $5,000 eran puros gallos puros de los cabezas redondas. Muchos gallos los jugó una semana y los voy a jugar la siguiente semana también. Do you think a rooster gets bored of the keep? We have a big thing here in Mexico where we say that the roosters get bored of the keep. Le estoy preguntando que si piensa que los gallos se enfaden de la cuida, porque ya ve que aquí decimos que se enfadan o que ya están. Do they get stale?
Well, I mean, if a rooster just stands, I mean, even if you just move him from one cage to the other, even I don't care if the cage is only 2 feet away, and you move him to another cage, automatically he acts better.
Right.
You know, he seems like he's in a new, just completely a whole new, different environment when literally you just moved him from one side to the other.
Okay.
And I like to give mine a hen every week, you know.
Dice que si mueves un gallo de una jaula a otra jaula, aunque sea de 1 metro de lejos, activas al gallo. También dice que le echa una gallina una vez a la semana. But could you feed a rooster all year long? I mean, if you wanted to?
Oh, I mean, it just depends on what kind of system you have. You know, I'm saying, you know, some people's got their yards set up where they got nothing but pins or nothing but tie cords or whatever the case. You need a good mixture of everything. Okay. So you kind of keep the rooster interested, you know, as the time and the months or the weeks go on. You know,
dice que para él
it don't matter how big a space you have.
Para él no importa qué tan grande sea tu gallera, pero tienes que tener una combinación de jaulas, de tipis, voladeros para que el gallo lo tengas activo y no aburrido.
I mean, a rooster, he wakes us up every morning, you know. Yeah. He's always interested and I mean, he's always active, you know. I mean, you look at them, I mean, they immediately, boom, as soon as it gets daylight, they're down, they're searching, they're scratching, they're calling for hens. I mean, you just got to keep them, you know.
Dice que los gallos de que están en la mañana pues están activos, buscando gallina, buscando comida, que son animales muy activos, y eso es lo que sabemos de los animales, que son animales que tienen que estar activos todo el tiempo. Por eso es lo bonito de tener una gallera cuando tengas muchas cosas diferentes.
And a rooster will get used to whatever routine that you start him out on. I mean, that's a lot of people's problem during the keep. You know, they show up at different times of the day. I mean, I don't give a shit what nobody says. A rooster can tell time. If he's normally used to eating at 4 o'clock every day, he's looking for you at 4 o'clock.
Dice que los gallos no son tan pendejos. Si tú estás acostumbrado a que el gallo le das comida a las 4 de la tarde, tienes que darle siempre a las 4 de la tarde. El gallo sabe que ya es hora de comer y te está esperando. And they get stressed out, right?
Yeah, I mean, they get stressed. I mean, the simplest, easiest, straight routine that you can keep a rooster on, it's going to be better, overall better, you know, throughout the keep, throughout the pointing process.
Dice que la mejor rutina que es la rutina más simple que tengas, que puedas darle comer al mismo tiempo, hacer lo mismo siempre. Do you like to rotate roosters?
I rotate a rooster. I never throw them on a bench. My roosters never get work, never receive any hand work whatsoever.
No hand work
never, no hand, because in today's competition, 1 or 2 chingazos and it's over. You know, there's not. I mean, you don't really. A rooster has enough power if he's naturally in shape. He's got plenty of power with, say. I mean, you look at the technology on these knives. It's super sharp. 1 or 2 good hits. I mean,
dice que él no da nada de mesa porque dice que él va rota porque dice que no ocupa tanto fuerza para meter una najada de 1 pulgada a un gallo. Que si el gallo está sano y está fuerte, naturalmente es mejor que darle mesa. No table work at all.
No table work whatsoever. And I think that the biggest key to my success is, like, say, if I'm preparing for a 5-cock derby, I always start out with 30 plus roosters.
Dice que,
always.
Que siempre cuando juega un derby de 5 gallos, siempre empieza con 30 animales y ahí se va eliminando. Start
eliminating, adding more to, and I never say, oh, look, these are going to be a 21-day keep or a 14-day keep. I notice, you know, when you put so many roosters up like that, it's easy to find 5 out of the 30 or 40 that you put up that's coming up on their
Dice que si metes 30 gallos en cuida,
roosters have cycles.
Es muy fácil saber cuándo el gallo va arriba en su ciclo. I believe in cycles too.
Yeah, they go in cycles, and then when you got 30 roosters up, it makes it so much easier for you to pick 5 that's doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know, so
para él a lo mejor empezar con 30 gallos y so could you, let's say you had 50 roosters up, right? You could fight continuously fight for months and months and months.
Well,
and putting new roosters in, taking out roosters.
No, I mean, I usually keep 350, 400 roosters. So I gotta remember, you know, I've got a lot more roosters out there in the yard that I don't want to be getting stale, like we was talking about a few minutes ago. So I'll be rotating the whole place.
Que tiene 400 gallos en su gallera y lo que rota los 400 gallos al mismo
But I
tiempo.
never say my keep is 21 days long, or I mean, some roosters are ready in 10 days, some roosters are ready in a month and a half.
Hay gallos que ha jugado a los 10 días, hay gallos que ha jugado a los mes y medio. Nunca hay un disque, que sea una cuida de 14 días, una cuida de 21 días, una cuida de 30 días. Cuando el gallo le dice que está listo y va en su ciclo, es cuando... So, to get another rooster stale, what do you do besides a hen and
well, I mean, he needs to have greens. A rooster has to have grass, you know, or some. I mean, if you don't have any grass at your farm, you know, you can go to the grocery store. I like to feed mine, you know, the baby spinach leaves, you know, just any little small stuff like that. You know, give them a treat, you know, a piece of fruit every now and then.
Y que los gallos ocupan algo verde, ocupan zacate, ocupan espinaca, ocupan algo de fruta. Es muy importante que mantengan los gallos sanos con algo verde.
Because the rooster, you know, and especially stags. Stags, it's all about mental. I mean, you got to keep a stag rooster, a stag, you know, he's got to be happy, you know. I mean, it's all about mentality, especially on younger roosters for stag derbies.
Dice que también con derby de pollos tiene que tener gallos muy mentalmente lo tiene que tener. No pueden agarrar tanto estrés los pollos porque son más jóvenes. Tienen que tenerlos contentos con algo verde, con una gallina. So once a week you give them a hen?
Every week.
Cada semana le da una gallina.
I'll start them out as soon as I put, you know, whenever I select my roosters and put them up in the keep. I always keep 6, 7, 8 hens, you know, just crossed up hens just to run through my roosters all the time. And another thing. It's just letting one hen run loose out on the yard.
Sí, que también tiene una gallina suelta en toda la gallera para que esté pues tener los gallos contentos.
Keeps everything happy. You know, as soon as a hen walks by the rooster, it's just
like
us.
It's kind of like you see a fine ass woman walking to a cockfight pit. Entonces, como uno está en el palenque y entra una muchacha bien guapa, pues todo el mundo se esponja y se acomoda el sombrero y se peina el pelo y la chingada.
Right.
But Bush does that too. He'll have hablando que Bush tiene 150 gallos cuidando todo el tiempo y los está topando diario y lo está rotando. Y de ahí gana también los que van para arriba. Bush does the same thing. He'll have 150 roosters and keep.
Yeah.
And he'll spar some
I
every
love the
fucking
spar
day.
chickens. I mean, you got to spar. They get they get used to what you do to them. Now, like I say, it goes back to the routine that you keep them on. A rooster is a pretty intelligent animal. They get used to whatever you do to them.
Dice que los gallos
on the routine.
Son muy listos que se acostumbran a lo que le das. A él le gusta topar mucho. How many times do you spar a rooster?
I'll start out when I first select the roosters off the yard to bring in. I may spar them for 3 or 4 days in a row. Not letting them be, really rumble,
right.
But just getting them used in your hands. Getting them used to the pit. And I never just like to spar them out in the yard or just anywhere. I like to bring them back to the same spot that resembles the palenque.
Dice que él
with the lights.
a veces topa 3 veces al hilo, topa donde haya luces, donde haya como un tipo de palenque, no topar afuera en los tipis porque no estás topando en el mismo lugar donde van a jugar. So 3 times a day, 3 times in a row?
I'll spar them sometimes 3 or 4 days in a row.
And then after that?
And then after about the second or third sparring, you see you're starting to get the potential out of them. And then you can go ahead and start in your process of your vitamins and all that stuff. And then I'll give them 3 or 4 days break, and I'll spar them again.
3 or 4 times?
Yeah, 3. No, I usually, only when I first put them up.
Okay.
I'll spar them for 3 or 4 days in a row. Because usually, like say, during the summer in the molt, they're just sitting there, they haven't been sparred in like 6 months.
Okay.
So,
Entonces lo topa 4 días seguidos y luego lo descansa 4 o 5 días y ya lo empieza a dar vitaminas y luego ya la siguiente semana los topa 2. So maybe 3 times a week maybe?
Más o menos, 3 times a
unas
week.
3 veces por semana los topa. Day before the fight? The day of the fight?
I spar mine day of the fight. That's how I pick my roosters. I never pick a chicken before the day. I mean, I wake my roosters up at 5 in the morning. I got 20 or 30 of them. I'll spar them, and that's what I pick. Whatever does the best, that's what I go to the derby with.
Dice que el día de la jugada, él los topa en la mañana y ahí es cuando decide qué va a jugar ese día. I saw Jimbo fight I think it was a Hawaiian.
Right.
And he sparred throughout the derby a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, who do you think I learned it from? Jimbo and Mike, and those guys. I mean, they're
Sean Hanley,
all those guys.
Brian Corcoran,
all those.
Spars the fuck out of them. Le dijo que una vez vi a Jimbo jugar un derby grande y ganó y los topó a medio derby, los estaba topando. He sparred him a couple times.
Yeah.
The first one they fought.
It's not going to hurt a rooster to sparring. Everybody wants to think, I want my rooster to look beautiful, the plumas, sometimes I'll walk in there, my rooster's got a black eye,
Dice que a veces, que no le va a doler que los topes, a veces entra la gallera y el gallo tiene un ojo negro.
But when I set him down, he means business.
Do you spar with muffs?
Now, the day of, yes, I'll spar with muffs. But before that, no muffs. I mean, if he gets an eye knocked out or something like that, that's his fault.
Le gusta que si topa con topadores, dice que no, que el día de la jugada sí topa con topadores.
They gotta feel the chingazo.
Antes, que dice que tiene que sentir el chingadazo de los gallos. Is that why you do it?
Well, I mean, you typically look at, say you're watching just a normal fight, and the rooster's kind of hauling around, and he gets hit, and then he starts, trying to catch up.
Right.
If they're used to feeling that chingazo, you don't have to worry about that. That takes that away.
Dice que muchas veces los gallos cuando lo topa con topadores, que ves en las peleas que el gallo, hasta que ya le pegan es cuando ya quiere pegar, o quiere pelear, ya se emputa. Y así sabe que le va a doler y luego ya desde antes entran con mucho coraje los gallos y eso le quita eso.
Just like you're 14, 15 years old and you get your ass whooped one time, you're a little bit more cautious next time.
Dice que como uno que tiene 14, 15 años que se agarra putadas una vez, pues la próxima ya tienes más cuidado, ya estás más emputadito. That's a good point.
Well, I mean, it's I mean, just the basics.
But you're not worried about cracking the ribs?
I ain't worried about any of that. You know, I mean, it's worked for me, so I'm just going to continue to do it. You know, I mean, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You know,
Digo que no tiene miedo que se le quebre una costilla al gallo. Dije, no, que para él le ha funcionado así y no lo va a cambiar. So the day of, you do?
Day of, that's when I select mine. I'll wake them up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, get them out, clean them up, freshen them up, make sure they're awake, and then I'll let them buckle.
Dice que 5 de la mañana los levanta, les lava la cara, prende las luces, que se despierten, que hagan del baño y ya los topa y ya escoge cuál va a jugar.
Because that's one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people do. Because roosters are just like me and you. Some days they have good days, sometimes they have bad days. So what a lot of people do, they'll make a favoritism toward one rooster. And yeah, he might have been the best rooster through the keep, but he might not be the best rooster on that day. He might be that down that day. And if you don't spar him, how you going? I mean, how?
Dice que si no topas el gallo en la primera día de la jugada, ¿cómo sabes si ese gallo está en su ciclo de arriba? Puede ser el mejor gallo en toda la cuida, pero si no lo topas ese día de la cuida, ¿cómo sabes tú si es realmente el mejor ese día? That's a good point.
Well, I mean,
it doesn't matter if he was good the whole 20 days.
Like right. If you wake up and got the shits in the damn morning, I mean, and you're looking across the pit at Marquez or Pacquiao, you know, I mean,
yeah.
You want to take your best fucking goddamn.
Que quieres llevar el mejor gallo del día. Ese día.
Because three out of 4 or 4 out of 5 ain't no good in a derby.
Do you remember who Larry Cook was?
I've heard that name.
Larry Cook was a cockfighter in Arizona, California actually, and he fought with Paral for a couple of years. Okay. Entonces te cuento la historia de Larry Cook, que él cuidaba a Paral Chihuahua y él llevaba 36 gallos a un completo caro de Paral Chihuahua, al partido de Paral. Y el primer día llegaba al hotel, los topaba y sacaba 18. Y al siguiente los voy a topar y sacaba 9 y se quedaba con los 9, mejores 9. He would, when Pará was at their height, right, he would take 36 roosters to Nighthawk, Maine. Right. 2 days before. They got there, he would spar the 36 roosters and take out 18. Mm-hmm. Next day, he would spar the 18 roosters and take out 9 and just use the best top 9 roosters.
That's right. I mean, even though, you know, they might have been some of the other roosters that was coming through the keep better than... There's just some roosters it takes a little bit longer to get to where you want them to be than others. I mean, I don't care if they're full brothers, whatever the case may be. You know, I mean, each rooster is a different individual.
Cada gallo es individual y aunque sean hermanos, hay gallos que llegan más rápido a nivel donde tienen que estar para jugar que otros gallos. Ahí les voy a platicar. Esta botana, él me dio una botana de él y yo se la copié. I told him the story that you gave me a boot that you liked a lot and I copied it.
También tengo a lot of derbies with that pattern.
Dice que ganó muchos derbies con esta botana. Tengo la del Giro, tengo la del Comino, la de Darío, tengo la de Piti, la de Matona, tengo la empanada, tengo la de Brent, la de Pandini, Ramón. En la mañana compraron la de Lupillo y la de La Parda también. Roberto el Flaco también tengo, la de Darío, la de Comino. Por favor comenten y comparten el video, me ayuda mucho cuando lo hacen. También la siguiente semana vamos a tener una entrevista el jueves con Valle. Muy importante entrevista para el jueves. Do you fight your roosters more towards the wet side or more?
It just depends where I'm at. I mean, like say, you know, like in Texas, it was completely different than California, or the Philippines is completely different. I mean, it's just you got to come up with a system for whatever the weather. I mean, from this little town here might be completely different than the little town right on the sea.
Digo que si juega lugares más húmedos que secos, digo que depende del ambiente, porque si estás jugando en California o en Texas, o a lo mejor estás jugando aquí en Los Mochis, o te vas a Culiacán y está más húmedo, o te vas a Hermosillo donde está más seco, o sea, cada lugar es diferente.
But you can't tell me you're going to feed a rooster same way in this 95% humidity as you're going to feed in Guadalajara.
Yeah. Que aquí estamos a 90% de humedad ahorita y Guadalajara estamos a 15%, no vas a dar igual de comer. But let's say you're in Guadalajara, you fight them more on the wet side?
Well, it's just like I say, you just got to watch the weather. I mean, I'm always, you know, I've got like 20 different locations on my phone wherever we go and fight at, you know. So I'm looking days out, you know, what's the humidity, just to try to you know, come up with a plan.
Dice
You know,
que él
but-
desde antes va viendo la humedad del lugar donde va a jugar y sale con un plan desde antes de cómo va a atacar ese lugar.
And it also depends on your bloodline of your rooster. If you don't know your if you don't know your bloodline, because like say my hatches, I can empty them up a lot more than I can my roundhead roosters.
Oh,
Because the roundhead roosters, you know, if they get too sharp, they get really nervous.
Dice que también tienes que saber tus líneas. Él sus hatches los tiene que jugar más vacíos que sus cabezas rondas. Si sus cabezas rondas los juega muy vacíos, se ponen muy estresados y no juegan bien. That's a good point.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
How about your hatch, the Kelsos?
Now the Kelsels, they're kind of an in-between, easier to feed type chickens than the roundheads. They're a more beginner type chicken. You know,
The roundheads?
Yeah, or the Kelsels. The Kelsels are, I mean, they're you can't hardly fuck them up. you
Dice que
know.
los Kelsos es una línea que son como para principiantes porque no, es muy duro para que lo eches a perder. Como gallos para pendejos.
Right. You know.
Bueno, sin ofender a nadie. O sea, gallos para gente que no sabe mucho, esos gallos, like hatches too, right? Hatches are,
Yeah, they're easy to get rid of, but you know, get ready. But they're a super aggressive type chicken, not real suitable, you know, for the Mexican style. You know, here against an ASIL. You know what I'm saying? They, you know, I guess if they hurt one, and then you know it's all over from then, because obviously they ain't never gonna stop. But they don't have not one brain. You know, they go.
que los hatches son, o sea, no son muy listos, o sea, ellos más quieren enfrente, les vale más que estén heridos, ellos más quieren matar a otro gallo. How much do you ask for your trios?
I get 1,500 a trio.
Él pide 1,500 plus shipping.
Plus shipping.
Él pide-
800 a stag, 350 a pullet.
Dice que pide $800 por el gallo, $350 por gallina, $1,500 el trío, más envío. Stags,
Cross stags, I don't sell too many battle cross right now, just because I mean I'm just going to be straight out. You know, I'm a fighter, so you know I like to keep most of those for myself. But in the future, I'm going to have to start selling some because you know there's just such a big business out there. You know, I need to start letting some of them go.
dice
you
que
know.
cruzados no vende mucho porque él le gusta pelear, pero que ya en el futuro va a empezar a crear un poquito más para poder venderlos, porque los clientes le están pidiendo que venda cruzados. So right now, just mostly trios right now.
Yeah, mostly trios right now.
Ahorita trios ahorita.
But in the years to come, they'll be you know, I'm planning to raise maybe 1,000 stags this year, so next year I'll have more cross available.
Dice que para el año que viene va a criar, este año va a criar 1,000 gallos, 1,000 pollos, entonces sí va a haber para el año que viene para que escojan. También vamos a estar también en los Inters, yo y él. I'm at the that we're going to be in the Intercontinental with your fowl be selling.
Yeah.
Voy a estar yo vendiendo gallos de Clark. Él está en el Facebook como Karac Grubb. Es K de kilo, A, R, A, C de casa y luego es Grubb. G de González, R, U, B de burro. Entonces ahí están en el Facebook. Ahí puede ver
And they can follow my page too. It's AK-47 Game Farm. I would prefer the page because I can't accept any more friend requests.
Dice que también tiene la página que es AK-47 Game Farm. AK-47 Game o Game Fal. Así se llama la página que también tienen en el Facebook. They can follow you there.
Yeah, and I'll try to answer. I'll try to you know answer any questions. Sometimes you know it might take me a little bit to get to it, but I will answer everybody's messages.
Dice que todos los mensajes sí lo contesta, a veces tarda un poquito para contestar. So future for you.
I mean, I'm hoping Mexico. You know, I want to get down here and get into this this good competition and try to prove myself. You know, obviously the Philippines is still on the table too. You know, I got a lot of brothers and friends over there. So, but you know, if anybody knows me, they know I'll go anywhere and compete. You know, I like to compete at the highest levels. I don't care where I have to go to do it. You know, I'm here. You know, people can say what they want, but I'm here.
Dice que a él está aquí para ver su nombre, que a él no le importa lo que la gente diga. Él va a competir en la competencia más dura que hay aquí en México, sea con quien sea. Y pues para comprobar que sí puede aquí. We got some good teams here. We got
Yeah. I mean, here in Mexico, it's wonderful. You know, I mean, I want to be a part of it, you know. So.
Digo que hay muchos partidos buenos aquí, pero dice que quiere ser parte aquí de la competencia aquí. Like we got like Butch is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Cascabeles is really tough.
Yeah. I mean, all those guys are you know, I mean, the heroes of Mexico. So I'm hoping to be one day, you know, hopefully.
Dice que todos los partidos son los héroes de aquí de México ahorita y quiere algún día ser uno de los héroes de aquí, de los partidos grandes de aquí de México. Vamos a jugar juntos también en el Golden. So we're gonna fight together in the Golden Rooster.
Yeah, we'll have a show in February. Hopefully this COVID shit don't, you know, keep us knocked down, but we'll have probably going to fight a whole show up here around Roundheads.
Van a jugar un show de puro cabezas hablando puros. Yo voy a estar creando sus líneas aquí en México también, en sociedad con él, y también voy a estar manejando sus líneas que crea allá en Texas y California. Aquí también, si alguien quiere líneas de él, me pueden contar aquí por Facebook, me mandan un mensaje y con todo gusto los atiendo. What do you think of the Roosters from Wayne Stevens? You know him from Puckett?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched those guys. You know, they've been around for a long time. You know, I've seen them at Sunset, Bayou Club. You know, Wayne, and I mean they're superstars. You know, I really hear of lately. Their blacks, their bullicles has been performing really well. But back when I was a kid, I think they mainly only showed reds and grays, you know, red, yellow-legged roosters.
Es muy duro, ahora tiene unos prietos y unos públicos muy buenos. Wayne Puckett, que en el tiempo jugaba casi puros giros y colorados. Fidel White says hello, Clark.
What's going on, Fidel?
The good boy too, huh?
Oh, he's a real good guy.
Him and
his dad, you know, I mean, they're just super good people, and you know, just you know, I mean, I'm just super blessed with a lot of friends, you know, all over the world, and man, I'm one blessed man, you know, to been able to travel as much as I have and meet, you know, the good people that, you know, that I've run into. It's been a real good experience.
Dice que está muy bendecido de conocer mucha gente buena y ¿qué te iba a decir? You're going to fight with me on the 27th,
yeah,
28th.
I'll be in Guadalajara on the 26th. I'm going to watch the Octarola on the 26th, and then I'm going to participate in the Derby on the 28th at 50,000 pesos.
Que va a jugar conmigo el 28, va a jugar conmigo el 28 en un derby de 50,000 pesos que voy a hacer. También estoy haciendo un derby de asiles para, creo que es 27, 28, 29 y 30 de enero. Máximo 150 partidos. De 30,000 pesos, ya casi estamos llenos. Si quieren inscribirse a ese derby de asiles, échenme una llamada por favor y ahí los esperamos. También el 27 y 28 tenemos cuarterola de 250 y derby de 50. El día 10 y 11 también, y el día 24 y 25. El 25 es un derby que en honor a mi gran amigo don Víctor Tame Grande. El día 11 es derby para nombrar partido del año de México y pastor y soltador del año, y el día 28 es para nombrar para homenaje a mi amigo La Gringa también. Todo está respaldado. Si alguien quiere entrar, es de 50,000 la entrada. Let's see. You can fight this week, the 27th.
28th, there'll be some ASIL hatches. I sent some hatches to a good buddy of mine. Well, it's my wife's cousin down in Michoacan, Manuel. And then we got some Kelsel Roundheads. It's going to be a mixed show, a little bit of everything. But
va a jugar mixteados, unos asiles con. You have ASILs too?
No, I don't have any. Well, my partner Jose has ASILs, so.
Que su socio José tiene asiles y van a jugar un punto de asiles.
And they seem like, I mean, we haven't tested any of them yet. This will be our first crop of 2-year-olds. They're 3/4 Albany and 1/4 ASIL, and they're looking promising. So,
dice que son 3/4 Albany con un cuarto asiles. Son el primer año que van a jugarlos, que a ver cómo les va. This is the special. This is one you like.
The special with my boot, man, it works
dice que
tremendous.
La especial con la. Y yo les digo, no puedo mencionar los nombres, pero sí ha estado dominando
I mean, if it works, it works. Partes. I mean, that's the bottom line.
I'm telling
you know?
them that you know you've dominated. I'm not gonna mention any names, but you've just
Yeah.
dominated. And people might talk shit. And,
Oh, yeah, I mean,
when they see that fucking slip and they see against AK-47, they're like fuck.
Usually,
fuck,
I mean,
fuck.
like I say, they come up to the scales. You know, there's a lot of talk on Facebook and this and that, but when they come up to the scales, you know, it's cuánto.
And they got the tail between their asses.
Yes. Oh,
Dice que
nada. you know.
que mucha gente habla más de él, como también habla más de mí también la gente, ¿verdad? Pero es más envidia que otra cosa. Dice que, pero cuando ven así el boleto que contra quién salió y es contra él, están chingando que, ay, ¿por qué me tocó a Clark? Y van a la báscula, allá, cuando van a la báscula hacen la apuesta y le preguntan, ¿cuándo quieres jugar? Y no, pues no, nada. Van con la cola entre las patas.
Well, I mean, I don't like to brag. I don't like to do none of that. You know, I try to treat everybody with respect, and the sad part about it is the more successful you are, the more haters that you're going to have. I mean,
Dice que entre más exitoso eras, más gente vas a tener que te odia, y more people love you too, you know.
oh
Both
yeah,
ways,
I mean,
you know.
I've got some of the best friends a man could ask for. You know, I mean, Jose, you know, and Rodrigo, you know, like the guys I partnered up with in California, just amazing people. They opened their house up, you know, to me. They brought me here to Mexico. You know, they made video for me today. You know, I mean, the Mexican hospitality, the Filipino hospitality has been. I'm just very blessed.
Dice que está muy orgulloso. La gente aquí de México lo han tratado muy bien. I'm going to show you what. I want to thank Chava and El Güero from Guadalajara for my edge, that they helped me out so much. And I want to thank Jason Deaton too, out of Oklahoma. He helped me out with my temper.
Really, I mean, you've improved the hell out of it.
Le digo que muchas gracias a Chava Vargas de Guadalajara y al Güero por ayudarme con mi estilo, y a Jason Deaton por ayudarme con mi temple. Este es un mezquite, it's hard mesquite, and I can do this. I mean, and the point, check the point out.
It's amazing. You know, I mean, it's
the point is still.
It's perfect.
And that's. You get. I mean, feel this ski.
Oh, I know. But it just stays super.
Y este es el filo aquí, se ve aquí que está todavía perfecto la punta. Y es un mezquite duro. It's hard mesquite.
Oh, it's like concrete.
Entonces, ese es el nuevo temple que estamos jugando ahorita. Es el nuevo filo que estamos trabajando ahorita. It's taken me a lot of years to get to this point, though. I mean, and I'm grateful for people who helped me out.
Well, I mean, like I said, we all don't start out at the top. You know, I mean, that's what it's all about, improving ourselves. You know, year by year, and you know, I mean, we've all fucked up. You know, we've had stuff. You know, we've done things we might. You know, we shouldn't have tried this or tried that, but.
Dice que nadie empieza desde arriba, todos tenemos que empezar desde abajo y estar aprendiendo poquito. What's the biggest, if you had to do something different in your life, what would you done different?
When I was younger, I probably wouldn't gamble so much. You know, I used to run around with my grandfather and a lot of my cousins, Terry and James, and a lot of these guys. And I mean, just every single weekend, just, you know, we go to the fights on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. You know, we was just after it, you know, just gambling like crazy. My grandfather he had a saying, you know, before. He says, gambling is like, you know, you're eating chicken one day and feathers the next.
Dice que le pregunto que si pudiera hacer algo diferente en su vida, ¿qué haría diferente? Dice que a lo mejor no hubiera apostado tanto de joven, que se apostaba mucho cuando estaba de joven, que su abuelo decía que a veces cuando estás jugando o apostando, a veces comes pollo y a veces comes pluma de pollo. And we see that a lot, you know, with gamblers, you know?
Yeah, I mean, when you're sitting there next to a noisy or a termite, you know, down at Sunset, and, you know, they're gambling tens of thousands of dollars, and you kind of idolize those guys. You know, Oscar Aikens back in the day. I mean, those guys were my heroes, you know, and I wanted to be just like them. But, you know, some people are smarter than others when it comes to gambling.
Dice que miraba gente como Oscar Aikens, como Termite, unos jugadores muy grandes, y que él quiere hacer como ellos, quiere apostar igual que ellos, pero pues ellos a lo mejor era más listo que él cuando tenía que ver con las apuestas. What's your biggest triumph or the biggest derby you won or the biggest?
Well, I mean, like I say, we've won everywhere. You know, I mean, I've won some good ones in the Philippines. You know, all over the states when it was legal. And but the one that really stands out to me is we lost a good friend of mine, Mario's brother, Ray.
Yeah.
A couple years back, and you know, winning his first tribute, you know, his first Memorial Derby was, I mean, just absolutely, you know, it just stands out, means a lot. You know, it means the most to me. You know, you know, I get emotional about it all the time. You know, he was a really good guy. You know, and he went way before his time. You know.
Dice que ¿cuál fue el triunfo más grande que ha tenido? Dice que ganó un tributo es un muchacho que se llamaba Ray que se falleció y hicieron un tributo a él y él ganó el primer año de que fue el tributo y que era muy amigo de él. Who do you think are the top 5 teams in the United States?
In the U.S.?
U.S.
I mean, it'll be Chino, you know, from California.
Le digo que los 5 partidos más duros de Estados Unidos es Chino de California.
You know, probably, shit, there's just so many good ones. But, you know, my buddy Chubbs from Kentucky, you know, those guys are super, the Davison boys, you know, from down on Laurel Creek, they're super competitive.
Los hermanos Davis, what's the one second you mentioned?
The first one?
The second one.
Oh, Chubbs. His name's Chris Davison.
Okay, uno que se llama Chubbs también.
They, you know, they're, you know, they sometimes those guys they don't fight in the biggest money derbies, but they're always super consistent, you know. And then you always got Prater. You know, Prater is
Chris Prater.
Prater.
Un saludo a Chris Prater, también es muy duro Prater también.
He's a real good breeder, handler, conditioner. He can do it all. You know,
él hace todo, es muy buen creador, muy buen
Kentucky boy. And you know, I mean, you got to go to Alabama. I mean, you know, Jimbo's probably, you know, the greatest, you know, to me, he's the greatest rooster fighter of all time. You know,
para él, el mejor ha sido
him
Jimbo
and Mike,
Cox.
You know,
Jimbo y Mike Cox.
Mike, you know, I mean, they're my heroes, so, you know.
Are your lines still similar to his lines or no? Or
well, I mean, like I say, I haven't went back and got any as of late, but you know, I mean, I try to do the best I can, and they do the best they can. You know, that's all a man can do. You know?
Digo que si ha agarrado líneas otra vez de Jimbo Cox o D. Cox, dice que no, que con lo que tiene de su papá es suficiente y que no ha metido más. So
obviously, it's going to be different because they're in a different person's hand. You know, I mean, I can't sit there and say that
you haven't
you
haven't added to round hits?
I just have stayed with the 4 families that I've had. I've bred them into each other. I've never infused any other outside bloodlines, but I've just used, you know, the Kelso to the Roundhead to the Kelso, so on.
You breed it in, breed it out?
Yeah, breed it in, breed it out. I'll breed, say, I'll do a 50-50 split out of the nicest hen or the nicest stag that I got, and I'll breed it back to whatever bloodline that is, say the Roundhead, the Kelso, or the Hatch, for 4 years. And, you know, I'll set a brood pen up after that. That's why I say I like to use 3 to 6 year old hens instead of pullets, because, you know, I single mate each single chicken. You know, all my brood pens are single mated.
Dice que él le mete la cabeza redonda al queso y luego se lo saca para atrás. Entonces por 4 o 5 años va usando las mismas gallinas, por eso no le gusta usar las pollas nuevas. So you're breeding the Kelso and you breed it out?
Yes, I'll go back 4 years. Straight 4 years back to the Roundhead. You know, there'll be a 16th or a 32nd left in it. But, you know, because sometimes my chickens are not, you know, super uniform. But everybody says that, you know, they've not added any new blood in the past 75 years. You know, obviously they're going to have a little short-legged, mean.
Dice que cuando no haces eso, que vas a tener un gallo muy chaparro y bravo.
You maintain families. There's no such thing as pure. You just maintain families.
Que no hay nada puro. Que lo que puedes es mantener una familia, pero no hay nada puro. So you just breed in, breed out.
Right.
Why not just have 2 sides or 3 sides of the Roundheads and breed in and breed out?
Well, I mean, that's another way of looking at it, but everybody does everything different. You know, That's just the way it is. You know, I mean, because even if you got, say, 2 or 3 different lines of the round head, you know, sooner or later, you know, this one's not doing so good. And even if you breathe, I mean, it just stays a little bit too tight for me. You know, it's too tight.
Que ¿por qué no agarra dos de la misma cabeza redonda, que tenga 2 o 3 líneas de la misma línea y de ahí dice que de todos modos está muy cerca de las líneas y no le gusta?
Right. But when you start bringing in other families from this guy and this guy and this guy, you just gonna, I mean, it's a mess. You're gonna
you might improve or you might fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's about an 80% chance it's not going to work. Because not any 2 bloodlines you breed together, 2 lines that you bring together are going to make great fowl.
Dice que mucha gente trae líneas de afuera, pero no sabes lo que estás metiendo. Y como puede funcionar, el 80% no funciona. Y así con él, sus líneas, él sabe que sus líneas cruzan bien sus quesos cruzan bien con los cabezas ronda. Entonces lo que hace es que le mete el cabeza ronda a los quesos y luego lo va sacando poco a poquito hasta que está con un 32. That makes sense because you know that they click real good. Your
Yeah, I already know I mean, like my hatch grays, you know, they're not spectacular chickens, pure, you know, or straight as one family. But when I cross those 2 families together, I already know what to expect. I already know what they're gonna come out like.
You make a good point.
I mean, it's simple.
Está como los hatches de él y los giros de él no son espectaculares, pero ya cruzados uno con otro son muy impresionantes. Ya sabe qué cruza bien con qué cruza bien. So you cross your Kelsos with your grays?
Yeah, the Kelso Grays they perform really, really well, and that's probably the most gentle cross that I have. They're really mancitos, you know, they're happy to see you all the time, and roosters like that are hard to whoop.
Dice que sus quesos con giro también son muy mansitos y que gallos así son muy difíciles para ganarles.
A pleasure to condition, you know.
Es un placer para cuidarlos.
But you know, I mean, it's you know. Well, this is what I tell most people, especially beginners or whatever the case. You know, you never stop learning in this game. You always trying to go different places, trying to improve, trying to look at different viewpoints. Because you know, if you keep an open mind in this game, you know, it's just going to better you in the future. You know, I mean, it's.
Dice que nunca para de aprender. Que si tienes una mente abierta, pues vas mejorando cada vez más y más y más y más. That's true.
But, you know. So,
do you single mate?
I single mate everything that I use to maintain my families. I single mate every single time.
Dice que todas las líneas que él usa para mantener sus familias usa un gallo y una gallina.
Now, for when I make my cross, I set up 6, 7, 4, you know, between 4 to 6 hens with one rooster.
Dice que cuando hace cruzas sí pone 4 o 5 gallinas con un gallo, pero cuando hace para sus líneas siempre es un gallo con una gallina, siempre. Do you do one rooster with like a hen? And
yeah, I'll rotate. Usually I'll take 3 sisters and then I'll rotate 1 cock to the 3 sisters.
Dice que muchas veces agarra 3 hermanas y le echa el gallo a una hermana un día, otro día.
But I know that's already a producer. I don't like to breed stags or even 2-year-olds. 3-year-olds that I've already know that I've showed the stags and stuff out of those. Them's the ones that I like to maintain my families with.
Dice que siempre usa gallos that their brothers won or
yeah.
Siempre
or them. I mean, I'll fight my my broodcocks.
Que le gusta jugar sus mentales y que tienen que ganar para que puedan producir algo bueno. The Sinclair boys just say we will breed winners to winners.
That's right. I mean, that's the bottom line. 80%, 90% of all my broodcocks are 1, 2, 3 time winners.
Que el 80-90%.
Because I mean, if they can't win pure, I don't need them. You know?
Dice que el 80-90% de sus mentales han ganado 2 o 3 veces cada uno. Que si no pueden ganar, pues no los ocupa. How about your grays? So they're really bad though.
Well, I mean, they're just not as athletic. I'm not saying that they're bad. They're bad chickens, but you need those families to cross.
Okay.
I like to say to the hatch, you know, if you just had to fight straight family of grays or straight family of hatches, you wouldn't have. I mean, you would probably get rid of them, you know. But when you cross them with the Kelso, with the gray, or to the hatch, they're amazing chickens.
Dice que sus hatches surgidos, como le digo otra vez, no son muy buenos, puros, pero de todos modos, even though you fight them like that, even
yeah.
though they're not good.
I mean, it's, you know, I mean, they got to win. You know, I mean, you know, if you want to produce winners, you got to breed winners. I mean,
Yeah.
horses, dogs, it's common sense will take you a long ways in this game.
Vamos a jugar aquí en los mochis. Which is the highest bet you ever made?
I think I bet 22,000.
Una vez que jugó $22,000 en una pelea.
I'd gambled all day long. I win like 10, 12, 14 bets in a row, you know, just smoking hot. I mean, every single bet, don't matter. I could close my eyes and pick the
Que
rooster and he
todavía
would
estaba
win.
puesta y podía cerrar los ojos y ya este gallo ganaba.
And then we got knocked out of the Derby that day, but we was showing really, really well. And like I say, going back to that rooster that I really favored during the keep, I mean, we met some high roller boys. I bet the whole 22,000. They killed me in the buckle.
Killed you in the buckle?
Killed me in the buckle.
Dice que...
That's how he fought terrible. He wasn't half the chicken. That's
Oh,
what I'm saying.
God.
You know, don't never favor a chicken.
Did you spar him in the morning?
Yeah, but you know, it was later on that evening.
Dice que esa vez
you know.
lo quedaron en el derby y hackearon una pelea o una castronaria y como era un gallonón, la jugó de $22,000, todo lo que había ganado ese día, y que en el aire se la mataron. Que nunca tenga favoritismo con un gallo porque puede perder. And that's what they say, you know, we say in Mexico that every time
look,
the best will lose all the time.
Yeah, I mean, gambling is one of the worst aspects of the game. You know, I mean, you got to control it. You know, you need to make sure your family's took care of, your bills is paid, don't overexert yourself, and
Dice que
waste all your money.
el apostar es el peor aspecto del juego, de este juego, que tienes que primero ver que tu familia esté bien, que pagues tus biles, que pagues todas tus cosas y luego ya puedes apostar. I think the same thing, you know,
Yeah.
when you don't do that. You got one? Dos, por favor. What's your best experience in the chickens?
Just meeting new people. I mean, just the friends that I've made over the years. I mean, it is just. I mean, like I say, I just keep saying, you know, I'm super blessed to met my partner, you know, Art, you know, in El Paso, you know, Jose and his brother that I'm teamed up with now, you know, you guys. I mean, even the people that I just met today. You know, I mean, it's I'm looking for a long-term future, you know, with a lot of these people, and you know, if you just stay humble and work hard.
Le digo que cuál es la mejor experiencia que tiene en los gallos. Dice que conocer gente nueva, de su socio Art, José Luis, nosotros, y que te mantengas humilde.
There's just so many people. I mean, there's thousands, you know, all over the world. You know, it's been, you know, people has just treated me, you know, with the utmost respect, and I can't say, you know, I can't be, you know, humble enough, you know. So it's, you know, it's just a great experience. These roosters take you everywhere, you know.
Yeah, they do. Que los gallos lo han llevado a muchos lugares muy bonitos, con mucha gente muy hermosa. Y como digo, mantener las cosas humildes. So your best cross for Mexico is round-head kelso?
Be a round-head kelso.
Su mejor cruce para México es los cabezas corredona con Kelson.
You know, they just got the perfect. You know, they're not really hot-headed. They you know, they'll wait on a rooster. Just perfect for the ASIL style. You know.
Que dice que son muy buenos porque esperan al asil. What do you think about the fighting now that, you know, we don't you know, build the roosters up?
Well, now I mean, now a lot of the Mexicans are copying, you know, the Filipino way of training and fighting now. You know, it's a real hard style to try to beat. You know, because the rooster, he's going to sit there and just wait on you. You know, especially like I say, you keep him on that routine, then he's used to that. And you know, a lot of these roosters just go salto straight up. You know, I mean, and they move so much. It's the competition is super fierce, no matter where you go.
Dice que ha cambiado mucho la competencia aquí en México porque ya todo el mundo espera gallo que no entre tan arriba, y que eso ha subido, que la competencia ha subido más la competencia. You know who first started doing that here in Mexico?
Bush.
Bush empezó, que fue el cabrón que empezó con esa chingadera de.
You know, he's a legend.
He's a legend.
He's a legend.
Did you see him fight in the United States when he was out? or no?
I'm pretty sure that I did, but you know, like I say, I'm not that old, so you know,
Dice que
I
no-
just caught the end of the heydays.
Que no se acuerda de mucho de cuando estaba chico. Have you crossed your hatch with round heads?
Yeah, the hatch round heads, they wasn't as good. They didn't click as well as I like them. You know, they didn't have the percentage that I like, so I discontinued that cross.
Dice que sí lo cruzaba, pero que no le gusta, no tiene el mismo porcentaje que los otros y ya no. So you breed for cutter more than gainers, right?
Cut. I mean that's just the name of the game.
Él cruza más para corte que el, pero todas sus líneas son.
Yeah,
son
I mean
muy
you
castrosos.
gotta have a game rooster. I mean you gotta, you know, he's gotta have a heart, you know. But you know, I mean I like to breed roosters that like to stick their feet in there, you know. So.
Dice que gusta gallos que metan bien las patas. Let's see.
But you know, it's you know, cut. You know that puts the W's on the board, and then like I say, you have to have a good game chicken. You know, you'll win through some game fights, but a really game rooster against this ACL type smart fight these days, they're not going to get it done. You know, they want to run their head in there and get a Bill Holt and stay too close. An ACL, most ACLs are backpedaling.
Dice que ocupas un gallo contra un asilo, ocupas un gallo que sea que quiera meterse a matar, que ocupas un gallo listo.
Yeah, you run into feet. You run into feet.
So your hatches aren't good for ACLs,
No.
pure, right?
No.
Le digo que sus hatches no son buenos para los asilos puros, dice que no. But your hatch colors are. Your
Hatch
hatch grays
the
are.
hatch grays are. For some reason, somehow, that click, that cross, you know, they come out where they fight halfway decent smart. I don't know why. I can't really explain it, but
Dice que, pero los hatches con los giros sí, aunque los dos son muy encimosos, ya cruzados son muy listos y que sí pueden con los asiles. They're asking who bet more in the past, me or you.
that's a rough one.
Digo, ¿quién era más,
I'd say Victor.
¿Quién jugaba más,
he's,
yo o él en el pasado? Dice que yo.
You know, and like I say, you gotta really balance the chickens and life. You know, it's
That's the most important thing.
It's the most important thing, and it's really it's difficult. And some of us that, you know, have been doing this since we've been a kid, you know, we get addicted to going to the palenque, you know, every week. You know, we want to bet on every single fight. You know, that's not the right
Que tiene
way.
que haber un balance, que no puedes ir a los gallos todos los días y jugar todas las peleas. Tiene que haber un balance en tu vida con tu familia y tú y tu familia. That's the most important thing.
And one person that I really want to shout out to, you know, is my wife. You know, I just couldn't make it, you know, without my wife. You know, and traveling as much as I do, she's you know, my biggest supporter, and you know, she's always out there working hard with the chickens, and you know, she's just, and that's really balanced my life more than, you know, anything else.
Dice que un saludo para su esposa, para su hermosa esposa, que eso ha sido su balance en su vida, que ahorita está allá con los gallos, ahorita dando de comer a los gallos.
Nothing like a good woman from Michoacán.
Dice que su mujer es de Michoacán.
Ah,
Carnitas,
carnitas.
que su mujer es de Michoacán. Do you like toppy chickens?
Toppy roosters, I fought a few of them over the years, you know. I fought some for a buddy of mine, Sean Cooper. They got, you know, he really good toppy roosters, you know, athletic.
Who?
Sean from Kentucky. Yeah, he's got some really good. You know, I don't think he raises too many of them, but
Que sí ha jugado toppies, que sí le gustan.
real good toppies.
Let's see.
But as far as me, I've never raised them.
Que él no ha cruzado, él no ha jugado. He jugado de vez en cuando los toppies, pero él no los tiene como línea. Let's see. Sí, Granja San Martín, yo voy a estar manejando sus líneas también yo. Está en El Paso, Kiko de Bermúdez. You have sweaters?
I've got sweaters. I've had them for about probably like 7-8 years now. They come from a good buddy of mine, Mark Hill, out of Georgia.
Dice que sus sueros vienen con.
I think they're mainly
Georgia.
I think they're a yellow-legged hatch more than they are sweater. But you know, that's what he told me they
Dice
was.
que para él piensa que tiene con ellos 7 años, pero piensa que son más tipo yellow hatch que sweater. You have them with the family?
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I've been breeding them for about 7 years now.
You like him?
And they've done really. I mean, I've fought more of those toward the Philippines. You know, the long knife. I've not really showed too many of them in the short, so I'm not going to say.
Que ha jugado más eso en la naranja larga, pero va a ver que este año a ver cómo les va. Did you fight him this year in the short knife?
Yeah, I've won with several of the sweater roundhead crosses, the sweater Kelso crosses.
Que sí he jugado con los sueros, con los cabezas ronda y con los Kelsons. Jay Gentry, hey buddy. Jay Gentry says hi. You know Jay?
Yeah, I know Jay. You know, like I say, he's another superstar. You know.
Jay, he says you're a superstar. A good old boy too.
Yeah, a good person.
Let's see.
But,
who fights your roosters here in Mexico? You haven't
sold like I said, I've never really been much of a seller.
You know, que casi nadie juega toros aquí porque no vende muchos pollos.
I love to fight the roosters more than sell, but now you know everybody's offering you big money for your roosters these days. They see you out winning derbies and being competitive and going different places and winning in different places. So and especially a lot of the Mexican guys, they don't care to pay. So it's kind of stupid not to be able to sell some, pay for the feed, make them pay for themselves. It's just good business sense at the end of the day.
So you was dice que no ha jugado tanto aquí ahorita porque no tenía, todos los juega en otras partes, pero ya va a empezar a criar más para poder vender pollos cruzados. They wonder if you're bringing any gray hens to Pachuca in the Continental sell.
I can.
Dice que sí vamos a traer gallinas giras para vender ahí en este. ¿Esmeralda's your wife?
Huh?
¿Esmeralda?
No, it's Yvonne.
Dice, saludos a la guapísima Esmeralda. Or Rafael saying hi to my guapísima, the cute Esmeralda. That's my assistant.
Oh, okay.
Entonces, saludos a mi asistente. Mondragon, I always do this joke, but I won't do it with you. I would say, if I was interviewing Jose, or not Jose either, like somebody else, I go, so-and-so says hello to his wife and to the girlfriend too.
Oh, hell no.
I know she'll cut your balls off. Le va a cortar los huevos si le digo eso.
That's another bad thing about the Michoacan girls. They get hot real quick.
Dice que lo malo que las michoacanas que son bien celosas.
So I don't do that to me. She'll kill me.
No lo voy a hacer, me voy a levantar las ganas.
Puro fierro.
Let's see. Muchas gracias, Saúl Jiménez. Who do you think the best? You think the best breeder all around was Decox?
D, him, Jimbo, and Mike. They were just super trainers, super breeders. But D was just like, he went at it harder than anybody I ever seen. And even Jimbo, I tell you, he fucking, he got after Jimbo's ass.
Dice que para él el mejor gallero que ha sido Decox. También sus hijos también muy buenos, pero Decox era algo fuera de serie, era muy exigente.
But wanted to win.
Y siempre quería ganar y siempre ganaba. Muchas gracias, señor Bonilla. Don Edward, ¿cómo está? Me saluda a su hermana. A ver. Trying to see the questions here. La gallina van a tener el precio de $3.50. Okay. They're asking if you mind doing a time video later on.
I can. I tie the knife myself. I pit myself. It's not a problem.
Que él amarra y suelta. Que después vamos a hacer un video de amarre. Esos videos de amarre todos los tengo en www.bugarintv.com www.bugarintv.com. Ahí puede ver peleas, puede ver la amarre de Clark, el amarre de Beto Pandini, de Flaco, de muchas personas. Anything you want to add, buddy? Any kind of
just like I say, I just want to, just say, thank you to, all the people. It's took me in, here in Mexico, and treated me like family, and you know, it's just a wonderful experience, and you know, hopefully I come down here and prove myself, you know.
Dice que quiere dar gracias a toda la gente que le ha dado aquí a sus casas, que se esté muy afortunado de estar aquí y que él va a comprobar que sí puede aquí en México jugar. Any kind of advice for newcomers?
Just like I said, don't gamble too much. You know, if you can only afford to take care of 10 roosters, only have 10 roosters, you know, don't overexert yourself in this game.
Consejos para principiantes: no puedes tener más que lo que puedas. Si nomás puedes tener 10 animales, nomás ten 10 animales. Ten lo que puedas tener sin sacrificar a la familia. Okay, well, I appreciate. Well, one more thing. En la compra, what's today? Today is Friday. De aquí al viernes, en la compra de una docena, botana a mitad de precio. En la compra de 2 docenas, le voy a dar una botana. Esta la pueden comprar en pagos o en efectivo. Pueden ser 14 pagos de 300 pesos o 200 pagos o 21 pagos de 200 pesos. En la compra de 3 docenas, voy a regalar 2 botanas. En la compra de 4 docenas, voy a regalar 2 botanas, una docena aparte. Y en la compra de 5 docenas, les voy a regalar una docena y 4 botanas, un tape y un hilo. Lo pueden comprar en pagos o en efectivo. También todas mis líneas que yo manejo también las pueden pagar en pagos también. En cuanto paguen todo ya les mando su producto. Well, Clark, thank you very much, buddy.
Nah, no problem. You know, like I say, I'm just happy to be here in Mexico.
Muchas gracias también aquí a la... ¿Cómo se llama aquí el granero, amigo? Veterinario Lomelí, aquí en Juan José de Ríos. Le quiero dar gracias aquí a don Fernando que nos dejó usar su lugar. También a usted también por la vida que tengo muy rica, la verdad.
Gracias.
Y muchas gracias por todos, por estar apoyándonos aquí el día de hoy. A José Luis también, muchas gracias, José Luis. Un saludo a mi socio Vitoque de Grullo y también al muchacho que no es nuestro socio. Ahí lo esperamos en nuestros derbis. Van a ser de mucho, mucho buen nivel. Él va a jugar el 28 a mi palenque. Si lo quieren ver, pueden llegar ahí con nosotros. Muchas gracias, compañeros, y que Dios me los bendiga a todos. Por favor, comparten y comenten. Y para el jueves, la entrevista de Valle. Y a lo mejor hacemos una antes también. Muchas gracias.
Good. Ay, ay, ay.